All right, boys. I just got home after watching A1, so let's talk about it. Okay, before we get into it, can we talk about practice? Did you guys watch practice? Practice? Talking about practice? The end of second practice in 450s was sick because it seemed like everybody, like Sexton put in a gnarly time, then Jet would beat it, then Eli would beat it, and then Sexton would beat it again, and then Eli would beat it, and then Jet was on that fast lap and couldn't quite put it together. I don't know. That was really cool. If you guys don't watch practice, you should watch practice because it's kind of the only time that you get to see these boys put down heavy laps. Like, heavy. Okay. There's not much to say about Sexton other than just looked real good on his bike. I had thought after a year under his belt, him and the KTM would start gelling, and I'd say they are gelling. Got to figure out that stall issue, though. Can't be stalling in the middle of a main. And Roczen, dude, I got to say, I wasn't expecting it. Okay, so I went down and watched the race with my mom. And even she was like, man, he just looks smoother than everybody else. And I'm like, yeah, he's pretty dang good. It's like, it's crazy that he can make that bike be that good. Ken is just sick. I liked this podium. It was the most random podium ever. Sexton, Roczen, Anderson, like not the three that we all thought would be on the podium. And I always welcome things that we're not expecting. Keep it interesting, yeah. But that's not what I want to talk about. I mean, it's cool that Sexton, first time ever winning A1. I think the momentum that he's going to have for the rest of the season is going to be pretty gnarly. So I feel like my pick for the season is like, I'm feeling good about it. Feeling real good about it. But again, that's not really what I want to talk about. So, first off, can you believe that Tomac and Deegan kind of had the same race? Last to fifth. It's kind of weird. Obviously not the race that either of them would have wanted, but I always am of the opinion that having a race like that kind of, I would say, helps mindset. I always almost had more fun racing when I would get a bad start or I'd fall at the beginning and you're in the back of the pack with dudes not your speed and you're just flying by them. I don't know. I always had fun doing that, so I feel like that can kind of help you mentally to be like, I am so much gnarlier than all these dudes. Look what I did. I came all the way back from last to fifth in a 15-minute moto. That's pretty gnarly. I mean, I'm sure both of them would have much rather... Why am I not in focus? I mean, I'm sure both of them would have rather to get the whole shot and win by 15 seconds. That helps your confidence too. But if you have a race like this, I don't think it's always necessarily a bad thing. Maybe the 250 class a little bit more than the 450s just because they don't have a long season to make up that ground of, like 8 points that they're back or something. That can be a lot more in 250s and 450s. So Eli might not be too worried about it. Deegan, he might feel like he's got some work to do. But I just thought it was crazy that they both had the same kind of moto. It's just funny. Deegan seemed a little out of control coming through the pack. I kept just kind of saying to the screen, dude, calm down. You're going to wad yourself. He didn't. And then again, Cody Shock, last corner, just like last year. Can't believe it's the same person. Can you hear that? Somebody's doing burnouts. Oh, but one thing I did want to say is I thought his podium interview was pretty cool, where he said that he's like, big ups to the boys, though. They deserve to have the light on him or whatever he said. I was like, hey, that was a bit of a mature response. I liked that. But Prado might have got a bit of a wake-up call. Dude kind of looked like a fish out of water. I think maybe these GP diehards might realize, like, hey, the reason you guys are better outdoors is because These guys are Supercross specialists, and they're super gnarly at it. I do think, though, that by the end of the season, he might be battling for like top fives. He didn't look bad. He looked okay, but he's probably going to have the same kind of race for a while because he's so good at starts. He's always going to be up towards the front, and everybody's probably going to get so annoyed with him because they're like, dude, get out of the way. Go faster. I don't know, but it seemed like Prado might have got a bit of a wake-up call. It's not to say that he won't get better, but man, there's a lot of hype for him coming into the season and didn't quite live up to it. The biggest thing of the night, though, was obviously the Lawrence brothers. Bit of pressure, maybe. I don't know about Hunter, but Jet, my mom, she was like, man, that number 1 plate's pretty heavy. And then I thought about it. I was like, you're actually, that's a pretty good observation, because Jet as a rookie, both outdoors and Supercross, was like, probably felt like he had something to prove, that he is the guy. And he obviously killed both of them, won both of those championships as a rookie. But so far, now that he's the defending champ, feeling like he doesn't have something to prove, but maybe feeling like he has something to prove, to be like, yeah, trust me, I am the guy. And I mean, at outdoors, dude, Hangtown absolutely weeded himself, like so gnarly. And yeah, up to that point, he was looking unbeatable again. And I don't know if that's so much a pressure deal as like, I mean, it could be a pressure deal where you feel like you have to prove that you're the man, so you're going to do some gnarly stuff. That one backfired. And now with this, I mean, dude, it's the first round. We can't say too much, but man, he just did not look like Jet. Didn't even get top 10. It would have been interesting if he wouldn't have had the crashes at the beginning, if he would have been all right. But the way that he was riding, it just didn't look like him at all. It was weird. And Hunter, too. When they showed Hunter, he looked tentative and like a fish out of water. I don't know. It was really weird to see the Lawrence boys look like that, especially with how good Jet looked in practice. I just don't know really what happened. I don't know about Hunter, but you just got to think that Jet is either putting a lot of pressure on himself, or there's a lot of pressure put on him just by the sport in general. Like, he is supposed to be the next guy, and he's supposed to go out and win every single race. That's a lot to put on such a young kid. Again, first race back. Long season ahead of us. Anything could happen. He'll probably be just fine next weekend. He'll probably win. But actually, his off season wasn't spectacular. You got to think Denations, Geiser, passing him in such a gnarly way in the last two corners at Denations. I wonder if it got in his head a little bit. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking about things right now. What could have happened? Why he performed so poorly? Because even like the off-season Australian race, he crashed and didn't finish, and I don't know. It's just got to wonder if there's something going on in his head. Because I think that is literally the only thing that could possibly derail Jet is himself. He's most likely the best rider that has ever lived. I don't think anybody can really argue against that. It's pretty unreal the things that he can do. Like, technically wise, it doesn't get much better. He might end up being the guy that becomes super famous in this sport. Might be the new McGrath. But like at an even higher level. And when you get that kind of fame, it could either go one way or the other. It could be really bad or really good. I mean, look at somebody like Lewis Hamilton in Formula One. He became huge celebrity, but he's still the GOAT. Like, it didn't affect his racing. Jet, if he becomes like a celebrity, that's going to be hard to navigate and still put in the time to the sport that's needed, because I think this sport, you have to dedicate more of your time than it seems like any sport in the world to be at the top level. So literally, he is the only thing that could derail himself. I don't know what his offseason was like. They're pretty secretive. Maybe the new bike sucks, because the thing is that both of them did bad, and it's just really weird. They just did not look good in the main, and that track was super gnarly. So if their bike setup was way off, that could have a lot to do with it. I don't know. This is just kind of like a stream of conscious. I'm just trying to figure out what could have possibly gone wrong, because Jet, yeah, he fell twice, but it was both times at the beginning of the moto. He should have got into the top 10, no problem, but he didn't. And Hunter should have got a top 10, no problem, without crashing, and he didn't. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what these next few weekends are, because Sexton looks really good. Eli battled his way through all the way up to 5th with gnarly dudes. Like they said, there's 5 previous champions, 450 champions in the class. I haven't even gone through and looked how many 250 champions there are, but it is probably out of control how many champions are in that class. And for Eli to battle his way all the way to 5th in, honestly, 20 minutes is not that long. It's gnarly. So Eli looks good. Sexton looks good. Roczen looked amazing. Anderson looks good. All these guys stepped up their level to Jet, I feel. Like, Jet's not just going to have the outright speed that he has previously. I think practice showed that, especially Sexton and Tomac, the way that they were able to match his pace. Because when they showed Jet on that last lap, I don't know if I've seen him push that hard before on a Supercross track, trying to get that top spot. Like, he actually has to try. So, I don't know. This was a really interesting opener. I think that this is going to be a crazy season. I think that my prediction of it being close and competitive, I think it will be. I will say, though, that one of my predictions is already wrong. I said there's a high chance that Deegan wins every single race. That didn't happen. Anyways, yeah, I mostly just wanted to talk about the Lawrences, because that is by far the weirdest thing that happened this race. I still don't quite understand what was going on, but they both didn't look like themselves. I don't know. It seems like it might be pressure until they go 1-2 next weekend, and then that's just totally wrong. Just could be a fluke. New bike. We'll see. Anyways, I enjoyed the race a lot. Like, that was one of the best A1s I've seen in a while, it seems like. The track was sick. The track was cool. I actually liked it a lot. I didn't count if there was actually 9 whoops, but it seems like the whoops were kind of a separator. Like, Prado was jumping through them on lap 1, and the guys skimming through them were just working him. So at least if the whoops are like that every weekend, we don't have to worry about everybody just doing a jump line through them, because it was faster to skim this weekend, so that's cool. Anyways, yeah, those were just my quick observations from the weekend. I probably missed some stuff. Maybe I'll go back and watch and see if there's anything else I want to talk about. I want to make more videos, so yeah, I'll try to make another one on this race at least. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you did. Let's try to get to 10,000 like quickly. That'd be sick. Like the video too. Comment what you thought. Maybe I'll go off of one of your guys' comments and make a video about that. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, it was a fun race. I liked it.